Hey guys, okay, so this is going to be the start of like treats and sweets things that we're going to make. So the first thing that we're going to make today is going to actually be two things. It's going to be brownies from a box, and then we're going to put some chocolate chip cookie dough. Oops, I know you guys can't see. At some point, I will remember that. And then here's what we're going to do. And I'm not doing an actual like necessarily measurement for this, but I need about a cup of flour. So I'm going to measure just a little bit over. If you have parchment paper, this would be a good time to use it. I don't. And I said I was going to add that to the list, and I haven't done it yet. And we're just going to kind of spread this out on the pan. I'll leave this here so I can measure it. And then what it is, a lot of times we talk about how, go ahead, set that in the oven for 5 minutes, please. A lot of times we talk about how you can't eat raw cookie dough because of the eggs, but a lot of it also is the flour. So there's a lot of bacteria that could potentially exist within the flour. So when we're thinking about, like especially if you've ever heard of a plant and cross-contamination. So we're just going to bake the flour for 5 minutes, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so brownies, pretty simple, but we'll go ahead and get these started.
And delicious.
And delicious, yeah. But they do take a long time. So one thing I will tell you with brownies, like whenever we have a free lab and people are thinking about what they can make or what they should make, typically I will tell them to stay away from brownies, okay? Oops, I'm going to put this one into the bowl. Okay, remember we always crack our eggs into a separate bowl. Scoot this over. Should there be not just shell, but like a little bit of a blood spot, so we'll just go ahead and crack that into a separate bowl. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this because this recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of water, okay? And it's easier. If you've ever tried to catch water from a faucet, that can be difficult. So we're going to go ahead real quick. We're going to wash hands 10 to 20 seconds. Remember, if you're touching raw egg, you always want to make sure that you are getting that washed off. So we'll do that real quick. Dry those with a paper towel. Set that down. Okay. So we then are going to add 3 tablespoons of water. So this is what I was talking about. And I'm just using the bowl from the egg, again, just because it's a little bit easier than trying to catch out 3 tablespoons. If I wanted to use my liquid measuring cup when I was done, I could also do that. Now I'm done with that bowl, so I'll go ahead and I will set that. Okay, both of you, out, go. All right, then we're going to measure some oil. Now, my guess is that most of you have made brownies, okay? So, using our liquid measuring cup, we're just going to measure out 1/2 cup, which does feel like a lot. Not going to lie about that. We're going to pour that into our mixer bowl. And then for brownies, you could do it by hand if you want, because brownies, you don't necessarily want to overmix. But we'll go ahead and we'll get these in the mixer. So we're going to pour that in, pouring our mix in last. Again, just being smart, being safe, so that we're not going to waste anything. Lock that in, turn it on. I am going to spray these. Okay, so we're going to use like little cupcakes. Just to kind of make them, help them to come out a little bit easier. Brownies will sometimes stick. They will tend to stick. So we'll do that, and then hopefully that'll kind of help with the mess, make it a little bit easier. Okay, we don't want to overmix. Just like when we think about muffins, brownie batter is not necessarily cake mix. It's not a cake batter. Oh, so we were talking at the beginning, why do I not usually like, or why do I suggest people not do brownies during free lab days? Honestly, they do take a lot to bake. Even these, making them as small as mini muffins, mini cupcakes. But a lot of what the time is actually for it to cool. Okay, so we're just going to kind of stir that up. Then, using our rubber scraper, I could pour these back into the liquid measuring cup. You know what? I'm going to give that another mix. I don't like how that feel like that egg needs mixed up a little bit more. Not trying to have eggy brownies over here. All right, while we wait, I'll go ahead and spray this one up real quick. A lot of times, if you look at the recipe, it'll tell you if you want like more fudge-like or more cake-like. For these, I would probably do more cake-like because we are going to put them into the mini tins. I don't know, but I'm like going crazy keeping my hair back too. This is another thing. I need my short hair back so I don't have to keep it all the way up in a pony or a braid every day. But you guys know we talk about all the time, keeping your hair pulled back, your hands washed. Hair, 2 reasons. It's flammable. We don't want it to catch on fire. Obviously, we also don't want to have hair in our food. Oh, Alexa, stop timer. Can somebody come grab those? Thank you. Now, the reason I wanted to get that flour, exciting. The reason I wanted to get that flour in first is so that we can go ahead and we can let it cool a little bit and then we can use it. And these brownies, I'm just going to fill them just as full as I would cupcakes, about 2/3. Actually, turn it down to 350, please.
Can I shut the oven?
Yes, please. I think it's already shut. Okay, so shocking. I made a mess. So I'll just take a paper towel. It is going, shocker, right? Shocker. Caroline might get a little bit of that from me. But if you just kind of wet this and wipe this off before you stick it in, it is going to be much, much easier. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off, get these ones in the oven, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to do the cookie dough icing. Okay. I'll be right back. Hang on.
Bye.
So we're back. And the brownies are in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make this frosting, the cookie dough icing, like we talk about. A couple of things. Just like with anything, typically you want to start with your sugars and your fats. So we are going to use 2 sticks of butter, okay, which is a lot. And it is butter. It is not margarine. I've never made it with just margarine. I do like this one. I will tell you that I've seen several recipes for this. And this one seems to be one that I like. We're also going to use our whisk attachment. Okay. It works the same way. You're going to push it up and you're going to turn it on. You're going to lock it in place. We're going to put that in. Now the butter has to be soft. You can kind of hear that going around a little bit. And then we're going to use 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay. So when we talk about the difference between a treat and a snack, this is absolutely a treat. So please understand that this is not a snack. This is not something that's healthy for you, but it's a treat. Okay. So this might be something that you might want to make if you want to take it somewhere, or special if it's a birthday. When we measure brown sugar, we pack it in and we level it off. At school, we always use the outside of the container because it is community brown sugar, meaning that the entire group shares it. Here at home, you're probably sharing with your own people. So we're not sticking our hand in. And we are just leveling off that way. Okay. We have we're going to go ahead and turn that back on for just a minute. I think it's 1 cup of powdered sugar. Yep, 1 cup of powdered sugar. So we baked the flour, if you remember. I'm just going to pour the powdered sugar over. Technically, powdered sugar would be another one that we would want to sift before we start, but we're going to cheat. We're going to over pour. We're going to tap, tap, tap. Then we're going to level that off. Okay? My dog's going crazy. Probably Amazon. Maybe UPS. Whoa! Okay, let me show you a trick for that. Now, if you have the shield, that would be helpful. That was my bad. I should have not added that all at once. Just take a towel. It's best if it's a little bit damp. This one isn't damp. It's just a regular kitchen towel. It's a clean kitchen towel. And we're just going to kind of put that over and keep that powdered sugar cloud inside of there. Okay? Now, the butter, and if you can kind of see, the butter will start to, it's going to want to clump. So if you've seen one of the times where we've used our pastry blender, this is why. This is also why you want to do sugars and fats first, okay? So when we scoop our butter back in there, we'll get this to join. If we tried to add our flour now, and I think we did this on like the crepe video, we talked about how you have to make sure that you can smooth that out, okay? Then this calls for half a teaspoon of salt. Remember, when we measure our salt, we don't ever measure directly over the bowl. I'm going to pour this, and then I'm going to leave it sit here so it's ready to go. I'm going to use my knife, level that off. I'm going to set that there. Then we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and add the vanilla now because it is a liquid. Everything's covered in powdered sugar, including me. Maybe I'm glad my kids aren't in here. Okay, so this is like one that, you can't see it, but it has 2 teaspoons right on there. And then this one is just 1. So I'll probably just use this. Actually, I'm going to have to wash all of it anyway because everything has powdered sugar on it. We're just going to pour our vanilla in. And then last, we're going to add our flour. But it's just going to kind of be easier. You're going to feel better if you can kind of see it joining together, looking more like a frosting before you get going. So let me open that up. And if you can kind of see each time the butter and the sugar. Now, we've talked before about all the sugar. And if you remember, Caroline is my one that as soon as she eats some sugar, she's going to be kind of crazy. So I don't know what we're going to do about these. It's not a birthday, but I'm sure she's going to want to eat them, and then she's going to make everybody crazy. Okay, the last thing we do, we still need to add in our flour. Okay, remember we baked that flour? Now, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to spoon it. I'm glad they weren't in here for the powdered sugar escapade because they would have laughed, and then that would have made me feel really bad. Not that they probably would have helped me. Oh, the pen's probably would have helped. Okay, so same thing. If we wanted to go ahead and sift it, we could. You'll kind of see because we baked it, it is going to be a little bit clumpier. But we're going to whisk that right out. I don't want to dump it all in at once. Again, I don't want to get that big flour cloud like I already had. We're going to pour that in. I do have some extra flour here. I already baked it. I'm not going to add it back in. But this would be a good time if I had something else that I wanted to use that flour for, I could do that. The last thing I have to do is milk. Now, the recipe calls for 1/4 of a cup of milk, but you want to add like a tablespoon at a time. So I have about 1/4 of a cup in there, my liquid measuring cup. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and take another tablespoon. I could actually, if I wanted, just kind of pour this in if I were going to eyeball it, because I would kind of know, but I didn't measure it exactly right, and I don't want to get too much. You do not want for this to be liquidy, okay? And this recipe does call for mini chocolate chips. I think that was 3 and 4. Okay, so I'll go ahead. I'm about out of time. I just need to go ahead and add the chocolate chips, and then let's see. I want you to see this because I'll post a picture for the class, but I'm not sure how to add a picture to YouTube. But can you kind of see? It does look a lot like cookie dough. Okay, I hope you guys are good, staying healthy and happy, and I will post a picture of this so you can see it. Okay, bye guys.